towards this path of attachment, control, and desire. If the survival instinct makes us go that direction, just the basic, that's one way of when I look at it.
Survival instinct is also part of God's Leela also. It's part of the mechanism. Evolution is part of God's mechanism. So are survival things, so is everything, so is probably also the spiritual side. They're all part of His Leela, of His game. Whatever God does, He's doing it through various laws that He puts in place. So that's why science has validity too, because the scientific laws that come from God also. So He doesn't arbitrarily sit there and say, now I'll do this, now I'll do this. He probably puts certain laws in place and then things happen follow them.
See, on the positive side, suppressing desire, suppressing attachment, suppressing instinctive control leads towards more peace and tranquility. We know that it works. People are, more and more people are
You don't
going.
have to suppress.
Suppress means,
Transcending it.
in a way you're suppressing because if it be a hardwired, so to speak, we just want to make sure consciously that we control them consciously.
I think there are two things. So here is a Maya, here is a spirit. So if you go in that direction, automatically desire apne aap chale jayenge. Suppress is not a good idea. Like जैसा सूरज की किरण आ रही है, it's coming on you, and अपने हाथ बीच रख देंगे तो सूरज की किरण नहीं पहुंचेगी. You won't get it. So basically, we have to go in His direction. अपने आप वो छूट जाएंगे.
You are preventing. The word is preventing. You are preventing the desires and attachment.
Avoid वो ये ना नहीं जितना suppress करो ना आदमी ने जिस तरह किया मैंने there was a big conference about that. More you suppress, more you will come out later on to hit you really hard. So वायुगुरु तरफ ध्यान अपने रखो तो अपने आप उस desire ही नहीं रहेगा.
I think the word is to reduce or prevent through ardas and through Shabad.
Yeah.
You can reduce the extent of that.
Reduce it, exactly. Reduce and then ultimately vanish it.
Very good. Okay, chaliye ji.
Sure.
Again, a description of the wonder of that experience, where you're totally in love and enraptured by God. And it's described many places in Gurbani as Range Jana, to be completely dried or steeped in the love of God. So sometimes Rang is also love. Love that you're totally steeped in is Rang. So this mind is just totally drenched or totally enveloped in love for you. It's like the attachment to the fish for water, in the sense that a fish can't survive without water. It's surrounded by water, its home is in water, it's totally immersed in it. So you get that kind of an experience of Vaiku's presence. Kimat kahi na jai Thakur, this is beyond all description. Can't graduate, can't put anything on it. Tera mehar para. That plane in which you reside, that word, whatever, I don't know how you would express it. the mansion you live in, but it's not any specific place, it's that plane of existence or that experience. That is beyond description of infinite beyond description. Again, he's trying to put in human words, something that's beyond description.
मेरा ख्याल है विचे करे कि यह महल जड़ा बहुत पवित्र जिदे थ्रू मिल जाता. This is the महल. शरीर
either the Sharir or the whole universe. Those two extremes.
Yeah, people can, by practice, people can reach to that stage. But it needs a lot of effort.
Inside this body is the whole universe, within yourself.
Yes.
Inside the mind.
So God's presence is within ourselves and it's in the whole universe. So both of them work.
Your mind is the universe.
If you have it in that state,
you have it.
If you can experience the whole universe through within yourself, you don't have to look outside.
Yes.
Jo Brahmande Soi Pinde. Because the whole universe is within, found within yourself. Lalana is an expression of love that a woman will use for her husband, who may use it for a child, lal or something, it's my precious. So this is just this brings out the whole ladla kind of tone of this whole thing. Lalana, it makes it like that. The real close love that you can have for somebody, you're using that kind of language, lalana. It's a very personal way of saying it. It's not just saying you're beautiful, it's saying it in a very personal kind of way. Affectionate way, lalana. We try to express that. Yeah, it's beautiful sentiments here, but they're hard to put in words.
Doesn't the bal mean Shakti?
Balidan, you do a sacrifice. This is that part. I sacrifice yourself. No, literally it's sacrifice, but the meaning again, as you were saying before, is
I can do anything for you. That's what it is.
It came from the word Balidan.
I can do anything. I surrender myself. Everything is. I can do anything for you. Is a good way to say it. Sagal guna ke date Swami. So we think to achieve oneness with God, we have to have good qualities. We have to overcome all these weaknesses we talked about. But all good qualities come from you also. So sare gun tusi denge. You can help me to sagal guna ke date. Everything that's good about me also comes from you. It's all your gift. Sagal guna ke date Swami. Thakur, tera main sagal guna ke date sun dino suno dina. In all humility, I'm appealing to you, praying to you. Hear this prayer of this humble person. Dino suno dina. Deo daras nanak palihai. Again, he's just asking for the darshan of that presence. And I'm all yours. I give everything up to you. Please come and meet me.
Another question. Deen, the word deen, does it mean humble or poor?
Both.
Both?
Generally more in the sense of humility. Poor is the sense of humbleness, vichara.
Deen ke date, which means
You take care of the
अंदरों खाली है ते वो वाला दीन हो गया.
दीन मतलब poor हो गया, empty
शरीर
और
वाला
poor.
हो गया ते वो भी दीन हो गया.
No, there is a totally different meaning of deen that comes in Gurmani many places also. It's a more Christian word that means religion or deen dunya. Deen to dunya ka amal hai, like the worldly things versus the spiritual side. So there is that other meaning of deen also.
Deen also
But here
means
it's,
that's a deen means
dharam,
exactly.
Deen.
Yeah, dharam.
दीन ईमान का दीन
हाँ,
ईमान.
दीन ईमान.
deen ilahi ka maine Musliman. So that's the that also comes in
That's the
Gurmani.
word, that
There's
is
a
the
different
word,
deen
yeah.
here. It's poor or humble. Let's take a very short break. दरस प्यास मेरे मन में हुआ पंख लगाए न लीजिए. Continuing the theme of love and Vichaar. Says my mind is totally fascinated. मोया गया with your love, and I long for it. दरस प्यास, दर्शन में प्यास है. I have the great desire for that darshan. और पंख लगाए न लीजिए. I wish I could take wings and fly out to meet you. My great desire to meet you. मन मेरे हर के चरण में लीजिए. And for my mind always stay engrossed in these God's feet, inching with Him, in devotion with Him. I think religion is telling your mind to do that, so you can get that darshan. Telling yourself, this is what I want for me. I always stay engrossed in you. खोजत खोजत मार्ग पायो साधु सेव करिए. भारत उनका स्वामी मेरे नाम महाराष्ट्र. खोजत खोजत. This path to you is, God is found after a lot of efforts. We try so many different things, and it can mean through this life we follow different paths. We try worldly things, we try different things. And finally, when you are blessed, you find this path. It can even refer to so many lives. We have to go through many lives, and finally we are complete. खोजत खोजत मार्ग पायो. So this path we have finally found. Sadhu sev kariye. It comes to serving the sadhu. Sadhu in this case is probably guru. It's a broad word. There's a continuum in Gurmani between sadhu and guru and Vaheguru and sant and all these and Jan, starting from Gursikh to sadhu to guru to God. The meanings are, sometimes it means one, sometimes it means the other, sometimes it covers a range. Because ultimately it is somebody who is in tune with Vaheguru and who can be closer to you. So sadhu isn't just somebody who's wandering around in sadhu clothes, it's somebody who's good, who's pure and who's close to Vaheguru. Can help you get there. So sadhu sev kariye. So when I serve the guru or the sadhu, good person. I lost my spot here. Sadhu sev kariye. I have found the path and now I serve the holy. He's just calling me the holy with him. But it comes to the same thing. I have to, you can't always find God by yourself. It comes through good prasad, following somebody who can take you there, which may in some cases be God Himself, but usually it's some person. And for us it's Gurmani ultimately. When it never says sadhu or sant or guru, the practical aspect for us is Gurmani. Gurmani or somebody else who is inspired enough who can be our sangat. So Sad Sangat or Gurmani. Dhar Anugrah Swami Mere Naam Maharas Pije. Anugrah is kindness, blessing, generosity. Mere Anugrah is like mere. So Dhar Anugrah, be kind to me, be generous to me, Vaheguru, my master Swami. Naam Maharas Pije, that I may drink this great joyful ras. So Naam itself is like Amrit, is like ras, it's like the experience is like drinking something wonderful and experiencing it. Naam Maharas Pije. Trahe kar sabni aave, jal to kirpa kijiye. Jal to, so we are always because of our Kam, Krulo, Mohankar and Homan and the Maya all around us, we always have, we burn through desires, through hatred, through jealousy, we get all these things that take us away from God and make us burn inside. Jalto refers to all that negative, all the negativity that we can experience. It's all like burning. We burn in jealousy, we burn in thirst. And to extinguish that takes, if there's a fire, you extinguish it by pouring water. But that inner burning gets quenched through the wild goose grazing through now. Try kasami aaya jalto kirpa kijiye. You are burning and be kind to us and help us to put out this fire, put us at peace. Karke jo das apne ko. Hold me by your hand. God is like it. Das apne ko. Your devotee, your servant, and deen agya se das. Nanak apno ki jai. Nanak says, make me your own, and now you are. Karke jo das apne ko nanak apno ki jai. This prayer made me come to back and says that great desire to be with love shall fly up and lead to the wings. On the same Shabad, the last party has this as a Praman. Praman is some supporting Shabad that's used that reinforces the theme of the main Shabad. So this next one, Kam Vikandre Devahan Himna Sami Tol, Tanvinaya Apna Nahas to Control. Somebody had requested this one as one of the Shabads to cover. I haven't seen it as a separate Shabad, but in this one, it's very beautifully sung as a Praman. I send out one, 2, 3 files, you can see it. Come with Kandare Devahan. Say, if wings were being sold, if I could buy them in the marketplace, Ginna Sami Tol. I will bring them, I will buy them. Sami Tol means of an equal weight. So one of the traditions in India for many things is a way of defining a large quantity, like they used to do for a lot of charity, was to give out gold or other things equal to your own weight. So that's just an Indian way of saying a lot of it, large quantity. So I will buy enough wings, so many as equal to my own weight, a lot of wings. Ginna Sami Tol. Tan Jurai Aapne. I will attach them to my body so that I could fly up and reach you. Nahasu said Tol, so I can seek out and find my good friend. Second, Tol is to find, to look for, search. And denying Atma Nahasu said Tol. So kind of fits in with the original line. I wish somebody saw the wings, so I could put them on my body and I could fly up and meet you.
There is always a concept that God is up in the air.
Yeah. Ucha in the sense of great. He's higher than everything, higher in a different sense.
In respect, we always say.
So it's a metaphor for his being lofty and high in terms of greatness and everything that's good. Height is associated with that being up there in the sky. We talk about achieving great heights of spiritual experience. That's the concept.
The whole body is like metaphoric.
It is.
Fully.
That was my point earlier also, that sometimes when you have issues that you may question whether it fits with science or not, it can be either of two things. It can either be that Guru knows more than science does. In many cases that is true. In other cases that's not true, it's just a metaphor. For example, there are some things that are clearly in contradiction, like Gurbani talks about Panch Tat, 5 elements, everything is made out of earth, water, fire, sky. Now that clearly is contradictory to science. It doesn't have any meaning, right? There aren't 5 elements, there are a lot of elements, they have other protons, electrons, they have other particles. It's being used in
but they all come from these 5 things. But they all come from these 5 things.
No, they don't come from the sky.
5 things became.
What is sky?
Fire comes from burning.
No,
What
5
is
things
sky?
became because of this.
Sky is what we see when we look up there because the particles up there reflect something.
No. In the sky, Gurbani, sky is everything open.
Space.
Air. This is sky. ਅਸੀਂ ਉੱਤੇ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ sky है. That's not sky. This is Earth. What is not filled up? Empty space is sky. Akash के अंदर.
Everything is not made of water.
नहीं वो कह रहे
Not
हैं
everything, but combination of these things or computation or computation of all this. हर चीज में 5 चीज़ें जो ही इन्हें जो ही आई है मतलब. This is the universe is made of all.
Science है कि 5 चीज़ें मिली. बेसिक एलिमेंट बढ़िया ने जिन्हें अगर फायर भी आ गई है विंड भी
Yeah,
आ गई है ये भी
right.
बेसिक एलिमेंट ने बढ़िया
Right,
है
but they, what Garbani is saying is Punjab which,
It is a metaphor for building blocks.
no, of Punjab which you can find all these things in 5 things.
Well, no,
Electron, proton, they can find in
no
Earth.
scientist will agree with that.
How matter?
Oh, because they are not at the stage. Maybe 500 years from now they will agree.
But if Guru Sahib told us about 105 elements, then he talked about electrons and protons, nobody would understand what he was talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
But this idea of 5 elements has been there for thousands of years before.
Easy to relate.
But-
And it is, to me, it is a metaphor for building blocks of the universe. And if you look at it that way, then it's completely correct. Everything is made out of the same common building blocks. Everything
Right.
has common building blocks. Now, we don't know what those are because science at different places will come up with different building blocks. Now, first they were 100 elements, then they became electrons, protons. Now they are bosons and fermions, which are things out of which electrons and protons are made. In the future, they may find some other things. But Guru Sahib, in my mind, my belief is he's just using it as a metaphor for common building blocks. That everything is made out of common building blocks that God created. We don't know what those are, but everybody calls them panchtat, so we'll also use that word so that you know what I'm talking about. I think that's what it is. You can have different opinions, that's
disagree
okay.
with that.
You can have different opinions, that's fine. But you know, what I'm saying is, it could be that, it could be either one. Maybe there is something like that. But it could also be that Guru Sahib is using whatever has already been used. He has to speak the language of the people around him.
Right.
He's talking about things that are not
Yes.
accessible in human terms. He's talking about a spiritual.
बिल्कुल
world.
ठीक कहते
So
थे
he has to express it in human terms, and he has to do it in the language of the people.
language of the
So
people
many
of
times
prevailing
that is what may
time.
be behind it, and he's only using metaphors. So whether it is or not, I'm saying that's not the thing worth arguing about, because the important thing is what is the deeper message.
Yes.
The deeper message is that God makes everything out of common building blocks, and look at all the wonderful, so many things He makes, zillions of different things coming out of a few building blocks.
There's so many.
That message is the same, whether it's 5 or 100.
So
doesn't
many
matter.
creatures we don't even know.
Right.
They've just found one 200 miles down in the seabed, one so-called, we call it fish, उसका नाम ही नहीं पता, it's just needle, it's just size of the needle, and it's a dark down there, right? 200 feet down, miles down, and it flashes it, and that's how it is, she finds a way path.
But this only this earth, if you look at the whole universe, we do not
Yeah,
even know.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one little tiny
But
speck.
I'm saying, so we cannot explain. But Guru Sahib was
I have another
his
question.
mind, so he is still in.
Take बात हमने लिखा है कि I think that's another topic digressing now. कि सुपने जो संसार, is this all illusion that, for example, we all sitting here, is it an illusion? Is it an imagination? This I know
It's
is
a
a
very
very
good question, and it has many things have answers, different answers at different levels. So at one level, everything that's material is like a dream because it's all transient.
Yes.
It comes, it goes. But the deeper reality is something else. The deeper reality is our soul and God and our relationship. Naam rayo, sadhu rayo, rayo, gurgo rayo. Except for that, everything else is passing.
Right.
So in that sense, it's all illusionary. What we think something is so important, something will make us happy, something we'll have forever. But actually those are passing. We think we have a special relationship with our parents, our children, but those are all different souls that happen to come together in this one life and they're going to go their own way. So which is reality? Is it the relationship or is it the deeper soul? So in that sense it's illusory. And yet everything is made by God. In that sense it's all real. Sub-satya, which is quite satya. So at some level they exist because what we do with them will determine our karma, right? So there is reality. At one level, it's very real because it affects. We have duties to our children. We have duties to our parents. It impacts us. It impacts our soul. So in that sense, it's real. But in a deeper sense, it's all unreal. It's all an illusion because there's something deeper, and this is all passing. It's transient, and the eternal thing does something else. So both are true. Both facts. Things that seem to be contradictory can both be correct at the right level of abstraction or the right perspective.
I wonder, you said very well, I agree with that. But when you say, I want to touch that part, when जैसे आपने बच्चा भी तुझे ख्याल कर रहे हो बच्चा ने, that's and parents का ख्याल कर रहे हो. So that's सेवा और सिमरन करना है. So that's सेवा. अपने बच्चे की सेवा कर रहे हो. Not in the sense कि बड़ा होके मनवाया करेगा वो करे. So with that sense, it's not right. So उन्होंने सेवा करे, you're serving God. parents की सेवा करें, serving God.
There's a dharam side and there's a no side. There are both parts to that love, right? There's a duty and you should love your children, but
So
you don't
duty
want
is
more
seva.
in the sense that separates you from God or from doing the right thing. Like, you know, there's this woman who had killed somebody because they were competing in her daughter's competitor in the beauty pageant or something, she had to kill or something. That's done out of love, but it's, you know, that's exactly the wrong thing to
But
do.
that's not
Right.
love.
That's
That's
more,
more.
right? That's more. That's what I'm
That's
saying.
more.
That's the difference between.
But so
Love
if
that's
more
all
करके
doing
किसी
all
नाल
this.
किसी दा काम करना, that's not सेवा. So सेवा सिमरन दो ही चीज़ां दसियां तो सेवा बच्चों की सेवा ही कर रहे हो ना. जिस दिन नहीं बच्चे they think कि वो सारी किसकी सेवा करी. So they find different बच्चा कि उन्हें सेवा किसी तरह to get little gratification. So
God has given you these kids and you don't have the ability to love them, don't take care of them, talking about the person, right? So you have to do that.
Right.
To be on the right path, to achieve Prabhangi from God, to be accepted by Him, to do the thing that He would want you to do. You should be doing the right things for your kids and your parents.
You know, the other thing, observation I make, you know, when you read Guru Granth Sahib and all that, how in the last 500 years the language has transformed. There are a lot of words which are not even spoken today. So where did this transformation took place? You know, even in Punjab, you know, how did it happen that those words and those meanings, they all disappeared? I mean, nobody uses them.
migrating to different places.
You know, but I'm saying within
Adopt
Punjab,
the-
but within Punjab even, for example, you know, there's very core areas, you know.
So Shakespeare, padega,
सुनिया पढ़ा थोड़ा.
compare that language with English.
Bill Carroll,
today,
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Everything evolves over time.
Well, today there are kids' language, you know, school, you know, all the language we don't even know what
If
they're
you talk
talking
about
about.
500 years, in 5 years, the words that the kids use, we don't understand half of them, right?
The beauty is
also
also.
metaphoric too.
And the
Shakespeare also metaphoric.
the language is very different.
No, they also have a lot of metaphor.
Yeah, sure, he does. He uses very flowery language. There's a lot of
So the reason I was asking that translation, I'm saying how authentic is this translation, you know, when translate this. I'm just wondering, are we getting the true meaning of some of the words or not? That was my angle of my question.
Like
I think the answer to that is,
Yeah.
every time you read, you find something new.
Yeah.
You
part
feel,
of the
it
answer is there are
depends on your
1430
own
pages.
stage too. It depends, the same Shabad is bachpan padha, you will understand differently, and when you have practiced Gurbani and you're at the stage, then you will understand differently.
Also, if you read one
Feel
person's
differently.
translation, is different from other translation. Interpretation is so many types of interpretation, and one wonders because we are of course not
Guru Sahib
scholars.
की खासियत है और
नहीं,
Shabad
मैं अपने अपने मन
I
से
think
मीनिंग
part of
पर.
the answer is that there are, Guru Sahib gave us such voluminous Bani,
Yeah.
1430 pages in the current version. So many Shabads written by each Guru, so many they got from the other Bhagats. And the reason is partly because we need different things at different stages. Depending on person's perspective, he has to
Where
have
you
things
are.
explained differently. But the other thing is there's a common thread through all that.
Yeah.
So if something comes in one place and you use that to prove a point, as people do in arguments to prove a point, to pick one line and to prove it, but if it's the correct translation, you'll find the same idea in lots of Shabads.
Yeah.
If you're not finding it everywhere, then maybe that translation is off.
So there's a consistency of the thread of thought, you know.
Yeah.
If it's true, you'll find it more than one place in Gurbani. You'll find a lot of places.
I'm just wondering, my whole, I'm trying to learn that these translators, you know, I'm just wondering sometimes, as I said, which one do you believe? Because we are
They're
something.
not perfect
Sometimes
either.
you can have multiple translations, and you don't know what the Guru meant, but if all of them are, there are 2 or 3 things that still make sense in terms of the Guru's teaching, then it's okay. And sometimes poetry has multiple meanings. Sometimes the same line is deliberately meant to have multiple levels of meaning also. Sometimes it's deliberately written that way that it can have a superficial meaning and a deeper meaning. Sometimes that does happen also.
Because we do not want to miss the original Guru's thought, you know, what Guru meant. Because we don't want what we think or a translator thinks, you know. Sometimes the Guru's true message may be lost in translation, and that's the thought.
Yeah, it's right. I mean, it can happen, and only you can find out. अगर एक गुरबानी एक कसवट्टी सूची आई है साढ़े को, और हिस्ट्री वगैरह दी बुक्स वगैरह, you know, और जो जिन्हें भी ट्रांसलेशन किया, they are not very authentic. Only Guru Granth Sahib is सुच्चा साढ़े को लाएगा इस वक्त. So by reading it, contemplating it, meditating, you will understand yourself. ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਅਵਸਥਾ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਅਲੱਗ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੈ. So you will get to your point, your own.
But I see commonality. If you listen to the Singh in the call,
Yeah, of stage.
you will listen
So
to
it is
him,
universal,
you find
it
similar
is a
things.
universal what you call agreement.
Yeah, there is
Yeah.
always.
Universal.
Now
The
is
important
No,
words
no,
are
no.
repeated so many times in so many
Certainly
different ways, that the core message is there,
Same.
and it's
It's
brought up
the
in
same,
different
yeah.
ways again and again. And so if something appears in only one or two places and people are using it for debate, then it's questionable. And I think you see that in these arguments sometimes against vegetarianism and non-vegetarianism, for example. Some people take this line, some people take that line, and you can get lost in that, and you can try to prove things with one line by taking it out of context. But the core message is a deeper message, which has to do with not indulging, not overindulging, with being compassionate. Those things are everywhere.
The message is, I mean, the message is clear, but I'm saying there's a literal translation.
That could be
Sometimes,
wrong.
I mean,
Yeah.
just,
Especially
sometimes.
translation in a different language.
See, even when we translate, we sometimes say, oh, actually it sounds like this, but we think the Guru really meant this. We often make that sentence. As
See,
that,
part of the challenge is, this is an akat katha. A lot of it is about things that cannot be put in human words in any language.
right.
So that's why the gurus are giving you hints here and there through metaphors, through examples, through other things. So the deeper meaning is a spiritual meaning. So when you literally translate it, you can use that sometimes. That's part of the problem.
It's like a real full उससे खुशबू भी होएगी यार artificial full. I mean, it looks same, but you don't get the same sense.
Right.
But if you see enough of them, you'll get some idea if flowers
You
came.
can.
So even if you don't know
Yeah.
Punjabi and you only learn English, read from English translation, if you approach it with an open heart and study it enough, you will get the core messages. You may not enjoy all the benefit of a specific Shabad, but overall message people do get, and you see some very devoted American Sikhs who don't know any Punjabi. And they've got the core message, some of them understand it better than we do. Part of it is God's blessing too in their own spiritual state. Go on to the next one. So in this, these two were, somebody had sent us asking for a translation of these Shabads, but that person's not here. So these are two different dohas from this Slok Varantomatik section that I have. So the second one is actually a separate one, Sajan Sacha Patsa Sesa Desa. This is something you hear many times people do at the time before taking a hukam or cleaning the body. And it's a Sajan Sacha Patsa Sesa Desa. It refers to either God or Guru. He is the true emperor, Sacha Patsa Sesa Desa, the king over all kings. So this presumably refers to God himself. He's the greatest of the great. His past background, so he is Samanda Isao. So his presence makes us all beautiful. Being close to him, and close to him in terms of doing prakash, they are talking about Guru and Sadhu, right? His presence, and they're getting that to some other side. But it's broader than that, it's about God, when you're in touch with him, when you sit with him, when you think of him, and take his naam and get close to him. If it is show, that's where all your beauty comes out. Goodness comes up. So it's blessed to be in touch with God and tune with Him, every creative way. Sadhana Dava Sao, he's the support of everybody. This one we've done. Then we made a big thing we did for the mind. And Sadhana Dava Sadhana. Beautiful Shabad which we have to play here. The word Sajan is something you use as a friend or also close to sign for it, beloved. But when it's known as Sadhana, it's like a very lagla way of saying it, very affectionate, close way of saying somebody you're very close to. Sadhana, Sadhana, Sadhana. It's talking about that joyful experience of feeling God is always with me, feeling His presence. My good friend, my husband, my beloved is always with me. He's standing right there I am. Sadhana. Janyada is somebody you know very well, and you can him. So he's that close to me. He's translated it as beloved. Janyada is ya mere jaan to pyara hai ya mera changi tarah janta hai. So he's somebody I'm very close to. This is probably a word that's not used these days, so it's only translations by different people. Nan Aloira Hajamyada. I'm seeing him right in front of me. I feel like he's right here. And you don't see it literally with your eyes. This is a deeper spiritual experience. Although he's saying Khana Dekhaya. So So again, you can't take it literally. It's a metaphoric thing. And I see that beloved person I know very well, and I seem like he's right here, right in front of me. This is the experience of being changed with the He is in every being, in he's like everybody is like a bed within which they can read with their feet. He's sweet like nectar, very deeply, extremely sweet. He's more than sweeter than anything else in terms of the joy and the beauty you experience from him. And this is pretty hard to translate, but you can get the idea of what the Guru is saying. He's talking about that. How overwhelmed he is by that experience. He's with all of us, but we can't really see him. Can't actually be found. Swal mein jaane mura. The swal nahi samjhte, they are in touch nahi hai. Those who don't experience it, they are ignorant. All this beautiful stuff is with us, this wonderful person is with us, his presence is like a breath. But I'm so stupid, I don't know anything about it. I'm ignorant of it. Swal is swal. Something so yummy here, I can't taste it because I'm not aware of it. My home is keeping me away from it. And it's the Maya Madmata. I'm intoxicated with Maya, with worldly things, other distractions. Maya Madmata, Hochi Bata. We talk about useless things. Hochi is not worth anything, trivial stuff. We waste our time on trivial things. Hochi Bata. Faltu diyan useless things we're spending our energy on. Maya Madmata, Hochi Bata, Min Najai, Bharam Dhara. Can't meet with him because of all this. Bharam Dhara, because I'm caught up in all this illusion. Dhara is kind of a, you can have factions or groups, and I'm on the wrong side on the side of Bharam. I'm tied up with Bharam. All this illusion. I'm on the wrong side of this issue. I'm tied up with Maya and other things. It's such a direction because I'm not in tune with that. I'm distracted, I'm pulled by my desires, by Maya. So Sajana mere naal hai. He's right here, he's beautiful, he's the sweetest thing of all, and yet I can't see him, and therefore I'm caught up in all these other things, and the world, and desires, and trivial things that don't really matter. Maya Madmata, Hochi Bata, Bil mein jai Bharamda, Kaun Nanak ko bil nahi suje. By myself I can't find him, that's why I need the Guru, that's why I need Guru, I need Sangha, I need something to help me get out of this illusion. But Sajan sab ke nikar khada. The beloved is with everyone. But we need the Guru's help. Kaun Nanak ko bil nahi suje, without the Guru we cannot realize all this wonderful presence that's in every single person around us. Sajan sab ke nikar khada. When beloved is there with each one of us, only we can see it. This was a beautiful Shabad, there's only 2 lines, so if you don't hear it, there's not much to it, but it's a beautiful Shabad sung by Bakshi Singh. Hum meri sajna, sajan mane maan, again, that beloved is right with me, and I look for him all over. It says exactly the same. Nanak alakh na lakhiye. He's invisible, I can't see him. Gurmukh de dikhal. But through the Guru's teaching, Gurmukh I think it can be translated the way he has translated here, Gurmukh de dikhal. He's relieved to the Gurmukh, or you can say Gurmukh, through the words of the Guru, he is revealed to us. Again, the language is one of love and ladlai language. He's right here, yet he can't be seen without the Guru's teaching, he can't see him. next one is a beautiful one by Namdev ji. Rangile Jeva Har Ke Nae. You sing God's name, sing His praises, and your tongue or your being, your speech is steeped and dyed in that beautiful Naam. That's the joy of that is what he's describing and telling his tongue. Take God's name so that you can be steeped in that beautiful love of that. Oh my tongue, if you don't utter God's name, Sri Gobind, his name for God, Gobind is literally the king of the universe, Gobind. So if you don't take his name, what use is my tongue, what use is my speech if I don't sing of God? Surang Rangile Har Dhyaye. Surang would be like a beautiful color. Su makes positive, Dur is down and Su is plus positive. Surang, that beautiful color. Har Dhyaye, as you contemplate God's name, repeat God's name, and that beautiful color is what your speech develops, your thoughts or your speech become colored with that beauty of that surang, that beautiful color of God's love. Surang Rangile Har Dhyaye. Mithya Jeva Avre Kaam. And as the previous one said something about Ruchi Bata, when our speech is engaged in, we are wasting our time and energy on talking about trivial things that are not as important. Mithya, which are false, transient, illusory. Mithya Jeva Avre Kaam. Also not in other real things. That is false. Nirvan Pade Kharko Naam. That one name of God, that one thought of God, that focus on it and repeating that name and being in tune with it, being in tune with that vibration that Maggie talked about before, that eternal vibration, presence, divine presence. That is the Nirvan Pad Harko Naam. That is the stage of Nirvana, of being detached from worldly things and being into something that's eternal and positive. Nirvan Pad Harko Naam. This one name of God, this one Naam, is the ultimate stage of Nirvana. Asankh Kor and Puja Kari. You can do millions of other forms of worship rituals, different kinds of puja, different kinds of worship. Whether you do it with a group or something, whether you do it bowing down, or whether you do it, you go through a havan, or you do it a Akhand Path, or anything else, any kinds of puja you are doing, none of them equal, Ek Mat Pujas Naam Hai, none of them can equal the beauty of being in tune with God's name. All the forms of puja don't add up to, don't compare with the value of that one essence. That's the essential part. So you can spend a lot of energy doing it in many different ways and follow different babas and different paths. But if they're not taking the one thing to the name of God, then it's all useless. If they're taking you there, it's good. If anybody inspires you to get in tune with that, that's fine. Otherwise, it's all a waste. Parve Namdev Yahi Karna. And humbly Namdev says, this is what we should do. This is what is to be done. Anit Rup Tere Narayana. You whose forms are endless. Anit Rup Tere Narayana. It's getting in tune with that. This is the one thing I need to do. To get in tune with that God who's infinite and whose forms are infinite. Ramile Jeva Har Ke Nae. Next Shabad by Guru Nanak is in the form of a prayer to Heaven, again for now, for saving us, and it's the core theme is the same, Vel Lok Milna Hai Milna, but in the form of a prayer to Heaven, saying, take me, happy me, I throw myself at your feet, at your Lord. I surrender myself to you, I'm giving it all up to you, please help me and make me meet with you. Help me meet you. Raklevo Din Dayal Dharma Karya. I've been wanting to, I've tried in so many ways, I've gone all over the place looking for you. And again, this can refer to different attempts we make, different paths we follow, trying to reach Vaidu. It can also refer to we've been wandering through so many lives and finally gotten to the stage where we can worship you and do your Singha. Raklevo Din Dayal. Save me, Raklevo Din Dayal, you who are merciful to the weak. Being here is humble and weak. I've wandered enough, thak gaya, Bhammat Vaharya. You have to get to that stage where you give up everything else and say, I'm just going to throw myself to total surrender. Then we can overcome our hope completely by total surrender. Bhagat Vachal Tera Birad Patit Dharya. So it's your very nature that you take care of your bhagats. If you are devoted to him, if you worship him, if you take his name, then it's part of his birad. Birad is an innate quality, or almost like a dharma. This is almost his duty, or this is what God does. This is part of his innate description of why he takes care of those who are devoted to him. It's almost like one of his laws that those who worship him will bhakti kar rahe hain, bachata hai. Bhagat Vachal Tera Birad Patit Dharya. You are the saver of sinners. So even that's one important thing is God is forgiving, one very important characteristic. So whatever our demerits might be, whatever weaknesses we have, whatever we've done in the past, there's no eternal damnation in Singh. God is always forgiving. Patit Dharya, even the most fallen people, He will save them if they come to Him and worship Him. Bhagat Vachal Tera Birad Patit Dharya. Tudh bin nahi koi bino moisarya. Bino moisarya, I make this bino, I make this prayer to you. Vinati, I always make vinati to you. I offer this prayer to you. Tudh bin nahi koi. There's no one else at all. I can't go anywhere else. You are my only one. Because there is nothing else except for you. Kar gaya leo daya sagar sansarya. This world is like an ocean that we are all drowning in. Kar gaya leo, take us by the hand and save us. Take us across. Kar gaya leo daya sagar sansarya. That's it from the Shabads. Any other thoughts or comments on this? So the message is consistent, and it's up to us to overcome all the challenges of ego, of karma and maya, and to surrender ourselves and approach God with a spirit of saying good prasad, of depending on the Guru and God to save us and making an effort. And ultimately it's all about now someone getting in tune with that divine vibration. We're going to skip December. There are too many other things going on at that time. It was the end of next month. So next time we'll do this in January. And if any of you have some particular shabads you would like to cover, or any passages, please post that on CKNet. Or any suggestions on it, we had a couple of suggestions.